I refer to ADHD as either disorder or an issue with, depending on what mood I'm in, with regulation, or shortened to a dysregulation disorder. And the reason why I do that is because I realized, having had this all my life and studied it for the last 20 years and worked with hundreds of people with it, I realized that every single feature of ADHD can be explained through a model of dysregulation.
Define dysregulation for the audience.
Yeah, so it's where...
my audience knows it, but it's always good to define it.
So you remember I told you that these two opposing forces are pushing against each other in the autonomic nervous system, yeah? So if that system is regulated, there's going to be a nice balancing act here. One's not pushing too hard and the other one's not too weak. It's a nice balance here. When a system is dysregulated, it's either too much, too strong, too hot, or not enough. Yeah. So it's as if you're shooting or archery at a board, and instead of hitting the bullseye every time, you're going off. You're just dysregulated. Sometimes you're hitting the bullseye, but you're going off in quite a haphazard angle and sort of overshooting things. So this makes complete sense from the science around ADHD, by the way, because you would have heard of the concept of executive function, that the functions of the frontal part of the brain, the frontal lobe, that are like the conductor of the brain, that regulate the brain. And the main way that this part of the brain does that is through the ability to put brakes on, to inhibit. Okay, so you can think of the frontal as toning down the rest of the brain, so that you don't react in a knee-jerk, impulsive, reactive way, that you're able to sit and stay with things. And that if you need to do a project that has multiple steps in it down the line, then you're able to see that process through, prioritize and hold things in mind and move through a series of stages, not get distracted here and there and everywhere, and get to your target. Now, in ADHD, there is a problem with the regulator, with the inhibition. You have something called disinhibition. And that lack of brakes or inhibition basically means that all other functions of the brain and body become dysregulated because there's no brakes. You move too quickly or too slowly. And I realize that we understand this concept presently from quite a narrow lens. We think about the three main domains of symptoms. One is attention, the other is impulsivity, and the other is hyperactivity, or more broadly, activity. Okay, we think about hyperactivity, but actually, so those are three domains. We also think about, although it's not part of the criteria, but it's accepted as a core symptom of ADHD, the emotional dysregulation. So we've got 4 domains. Those are my first 4 domains of a model that I've created called the 10 domains of dysregulation. 1 is attention. So I'll come back to it. 2 is activity. 3 is impulse control. And 4 is emotion. Now, that's only 4. Just to give you a flavor of this, why is this relevant? Because think about it. Most people with ADHD, or critics of ADHD, say, how can this person have ADHD? They're sitting and gaming for 6 hours. They hyper-focus on this project better than I've seen anyone do it. In a workspace, this is particularly relevant. And it's like, it's not possible. Attention deficit. What do you mean attention deficit? This person's got unbelievable attention. No, they haven't. They've got dysregulated attention that can both be in a deficit state where you can't sustain attention, you can't latch attention. The problem there is actually latching on. Or when you're latched on, you can't pull away. It's a dysregulated relationship with attention, as is the same with impulse control and activity. Some people are hyperactive, but other people are really have apathy and can't get motivated and are bored and are just stuck. And there's definitely not too much activity. And the emotional dysregulation of ADHD is like a whole topic of its own right, but very heavily influenced by rejection sensitivity, which is a very important concept.